Take a moment and notice the space between your breaths. Not the inhale, not the exhale, just the quiet pause that lives between them. What guides that pause? What tells the breath when to return and when to leave? If you didn't control it, and I didn't control it, then who or what is doing the breathing? And if something is already breathing for you, already balancing you, already moving through you, what else in your life could be carried by that same quiet intelligence? This episode is an invitation to explore that question. More than 2,000 years ago, a mysterious figure walked into the mountains and disappeared from history. Before he left, he wrote fewer than 6,000 characters, a short, simple book that reshaped the spiritual imagination of the world. We call him Lao Tzu, and we call his work the Tao Te Ching. But the Tao is not a doctrine. It is not a belief. It is not a rule book. It's more like a direction, a way of seeing, a soft light that reveals the truth, already moving beneath the surface of your life. Tonight, we're going to explore 7 Taoist truths, 7 gentle insights attributed to Lao Tzu, that may change the way you experience yourself and the world around you. Each one is simple, but simplicity here does not mean small. Sometimes the smallest shift opens the largest door. So let's begin. Lao Tzu often compared the soft to the strong, water to stone, flexibility to force. But what does that mean in human experience? Think of a moment when you resisted something, a conversation you didn't want, a feeling that frightened you, a change you weren't prepared for. Notice how the resistance felt. Tight, rigid, closed. Now think of a moment when you let something be as it was, even if it was painful, even if it was uncertain. That softness was not weakness. It was a kind of courage, a willingness to remain open, while everything inside you wanted to contract. Softness is strength, because softness can adapt. Softness bends. Softness survives storms that break the strongest branches. There is a softness in you, too. A quiet resilience you may not always notice, but you feel it in the moments you choose openness instead of fear. This is the first Taoist truth: what yields, endures. Wu Wei is often translated as non-doing. But that's not quite right. It's not laziness, not passivity, not avoidance. Wu Wei is the art of not forcing. Have you ever tried to solve a problem by thinking harder, and harder, and harder, until your mind became a knot of tension, only to have the answer appear in the shower, or during a walk, or in the quiet moments just before you fell asleep? That's Wu Wei. It's action without struggle, movement without friction, a kind of effortless coordination between you and the moment you're living in. When you stop trying to push the river, you notice it was already carrying you. This isn't a philosophy to obey. It's an experiment you can try. What happens when you stop forcing? What does not want to move? What happens when you allow life to be a partner instead of an obstacle? Wu Wei is not a command. It's an invitation. Lao Tzu believed that most suffering comes from excess. Too many desires, too many opinions, too many obligations, too many layers of self. Simplicity isn't about owning less. It's about carrying less inside your mind. Think of a cluttered room. Now think of a cluttered day. Now think of a cluttered self. And then imagine what it would feel like to put one thing down. A judgment, a story, a comparison, a should. Simplicity doesn't shrink life. It makes space for it. It's the difference between a noisy crowd and a quiet friend. You don't need to simplify everything. Just one small place inside you, where you can sit, without effort. Simplicity isn't a moral virtue. It's a form of freedom. Lao Tzu often spoke of stillness, a stillness that does not fight movement, but listens to it. Stillness isn't silence. It's attention. Think of a pond. When the surface is disturbed, the water becomes cloudy. You can't see the bottom. But when the pond settles, clarity returns on its own. Your mind works the same way. Have you ever tried to calm down and only become more agitated? Stillness is not something you force. It's something you allow. You don't make the water clear by touching it. You make it clear by stepping back. In stillness, the truth has room to appear. Not the truth other people told you. Not the truth you think you should believe. But the truth that quietly rises from within your own awareness. Stillness is where your deeper self whispers. Humans label everything: good, bad, right, wrong, success, failure. But labels are not reality. They are habits. Have you ever noticed how quickly your mind judges something before you've even understood it? A person's expression, a comment on the internet, a feeling in your chest, a moment of uncertainty. Taoism invites a radical possibility. What if, just for a moment, you didn't judge what you're experiencing? What if anxiety is allowed to be anxiety? What if sadness is allowed to be sadness? What if confusion is allowed to be confusion? Not fixed, not rejected, not analyzed, just seen. Non-judgment doesn't eliminate pain. It just removes the second arrow, the story we attach to pain, the story that multiplies suffering. When you stop judging the moment, you can finally meet the moment. And something inside you relaxes. Lao Tzu wrote often about timing, the natural pace of things. A flower opens when the light returns. Winter ends when the earth is ready. A fruit falls when it has ripened. Human life is full of moments when we want things to happen faster. Healing, success, understanding, closure. But the Tao suggests that life unfolds at the speed of its own wisdom. Think back to a moment that made sense only later. A job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, a plan that collapsed. So something else could take its place. You didn't choose the timing, but the timing carried you. Letting things unfold is not resignation. It's trust. Trust in a larger pattern that you may not yet see. You don't need to force the unfolding. You only need to be present for it. This is the heart of Taoism. The Tao is the way. Not a path you choose. A path you notice. The rhythm beneath your choices. The intelligence within your breath. The silent current that has moved your entire life, even when you were unaware of it. Trusting the way doesn't mean giving up responsibility. It means recognizing that you are not walking alone. You are part of something larger, something that includes you, guides you, and sometimes carries you. When your strength dissolves. Trust is not a belief. It's a posture, a softening, a willingness to say, I may not know everything, but I can meet this moment with openness. And in that openness, the way becomes visible. As you listen to these 7 Taoist truths, notice which one lingers. Is it softness, non-forcing, simplicity, stillness, non-judgment, unfolding, trust? The Tao does not ask you to follow all 7, or any of them. It simply reflects what life already whispers to you in quiet moments. You already know what it feels like to struggle against the world, and against yourself. You also know what it feels like to let go, to soften, to allow things to be as they are, just for a moment. The Tao doesn't create new truths. It reminds you of the truths you've always known. The truths buried beneath noise, beneath fear, beneath the pressure to become someone else. You don't need to change your life to practice the Tao. You only need to notice your life as it is. Because the Tao isn't far away. It's happening right now. In your breath. In your awareness. In the subtle intelligence that has always guided you without asking for recognition. So as we close this episode, I invite you to return to the space between breaths. Not the inhale, not the exhale, just the pause. The small, unclaimed silence, where the way reveals itself, without effort. Stay there for a moment. Nothing to fix. Nothing to become. Nothing to figure out. Just the awareness of being here. Soft. Open. Alive. And perhaps already in harmony with something deeper. A silence that seems to be thinking. Thank you for listening. This has been What We Are, a quiet exploration of consciousness, perception, and the nature of reality. Until next time, may you walk gently, and may the way walk with you.